Picture this, you buy a bunch of bananas planning on eating them throughout the week, but suddenly they are covered in brown spots and turning all mushy. Gross, right? The only reasonable thing to do would be throw them out. Wait. What if I told you you could redeem those mushy brown bananas that you're about to toss? I promise you, they're not trash, they're gold. Today you'll learn to make a tasty sweet treat known as banana bread. This is important for you to know for several reasons. By using those overripe bananas you already had, you get to maximize ingredients, cut costs, cut waste, and also baking banana bread gives you a chance to share something personal and sweet with friends and family, bringing you closer. Lastly, you'll learn something new and get to make a sweet, semi-nutritious snack. Hi, my name is Trevor, and over the last 7 years, I too have bought too many bananas or have had them ripen faster than I could eat them. After scouring the internet and finding a multitude of recipes with repetitive testing, I finally perfected this delectable treat, bringing the best parts of each recipe together. Today, you will learn how to make banana bread in 3 easy steps. First, we will melt, mash, and then beat. The second step, we will add, mix, then pour. The third step, we'll bake, cool, slice, and then we'll serve it. Before we get started, it is important that we grab our ingredients and tools. The ingredients that you need include your overripe bananas, butter and eggs, vanilla extract, flour, granulated sugar, brown sugar, your spices, which include nutmeg, cinnamon, baking soda, salt, and the last one is completely optional, but my favorite, walnuts. Now, you can add these or replace them with chocolate chips or do both, whatever sparks your creativity. Now for the tools you'll need 2 large bowls, a large fork, a whisk, a silicone spatula, measuring cups, and a bread pan or cupcake pan. Now let's get started with melting, mashing, and beating. Now that we have our overripe bananas, we need to get to work. The very first thing we are going to do is grab our butter, salted or unsalted or both fine. I will be using unsalted today because that's what I have at home. You need 1 1/4 sticks of butter and your first mixing bowl. We are going to microwave this on low for about 30 seconds. Make sure it's completely melted. Now that your butter is completely melted, we are going to peel our 5 to 6 overripe bananas and place them in the bowl with the melted butter. This will help get a nice smooth consistency when mashing. I found this to be the most effective way to guarantee a smooth consistency throughout all my research. Also, did you know that the more overripe the banana, the sweeter the bread? This is due to the starches within the banana turning into sugar and unlocking the true flavor and natural sweetness. Before we mash, though, we are going to measure our vanilla extract to 1.5 teaspoons and put it in the bowl. But the consistency is pretty smooth. We will add our 2 large eggs and beat them with a fork and incorporate them into our mixture. Now that you have your melted butter mixed with your overripe bananas, eggs, and vanilla extract, now it's time to add, stir, and pour. Now we get to add. We will start off by adding our flour to the second mixing bowl. You will need to measure out 2 cups of all-purpose flour and put it in the bowl. Next, we'll measure out 1/2 cup of granulated sugar and 3/4 cup of brown sugar. Lastly, we'll measure out 1 teaspoon of baking soda, 1/2 teaspoon of salt, 1/2 teaspoon of cinnamon, and 1/4 teaspoon of nutmeg. Now you're going to take your fork or whisk and you are going to mix this together until you believe it's completely even. Now for the fun part, we are going to take our dry ingredients and slowly stir them into our wet ingredients. Here's a fun fact. How you stir will affect your banana bread's final consistency. To ensure a fluffy, moist bread, make sure you stir slowly and not to overmix, otherwise you risk having tough, dense bread. This happens by activating the gluten within the flour. Now that all of our dry ingredients and wet ingredients are thoroughly combined, I'm going to add 1 cup of walnuts and stir it together until it's fully combined. Now that our bread mixture is complete, we get to pour it into our bread pan. Don't forget to either grease your pan or place parchment paper. Now that the mixture is in our pan, take your silicone spatula and evenly spread it across the pan. Now that all the hard work is done, let's get the baking, cooling, slicing, and serving. To make this bread perfect, we want to cook it slowly so it stays moist. We need to have our oven preheated to 350 degrees. Once you have your oven preheated, you can place the bread pan on the center rack in the center of the oven. We want to cook this until there is no raw batter left in the center. You will need to check it with a fork before pulling it out. Now we have to wait. This step will take anywhere from 45 minutes to an hour, so set your timer and get comfortable. But before you get comfortable, did you know that bananas are actually a berry? So technically, you are making berry bread. This is due to the fact that banana flour contains a single ovary, which in turn grows into a single banana. Okay, now you can get comfortable. Now that your bread is done cooking, you can pull it out from the oven and set it on the top of the stove for 20 to 30 minutes where we have to let it cool before we serve. Now that your bread is completely cold, we're going to remove our bread from the pan and put it on a cutting board and then slice. I will be using a non-serrated blade, or knife in this case, to cut the bread so that way it cuts smoothly. We want to cut the bread approximately 1 inch apart. Now that your bread is all sliced, grab a plate and enjoy. Delicious, right? To think that it only took 3 easy steps. First, we melted, mashed, and beat. Second, we add mixed and poured. Third, we baked, cooled, sliced, and then served. As simple as that, what was once a heaping bundle of overripe bananas is now warm, golden loaf of joy-filled banana bread. So next time you're staring at those brown spotty bananas on your counter, remember, don't toss them, redeem them. You have the know-how, the skills, and the power to turn kitchen rejects into the joy that everyone is bound to love. Banana redemption isn't about baking. It is about transforming the ordinary into something extraordinary. Not only allowing joy for yourself, but whomever you share it with. Now go on and turn those bananas into something special.